Gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's an absolutely gorgeous early evening here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, and the captain, Derek Jeter, will lead his team up against the Minnesota Twins. They're in town with the M&M boys, Mauer and Morneau. Here's a little history lesson. Those are the last two Yankee third basemen. Aaron Boone played basketball, got hurt, and that made the Yankees go out and get Alex Rodriguez, switch from short to third. Okay, enough about history. How about today? The Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Minnesota Twins in the first game of a four-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and Al Leiter. I'm Michael K. So the Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the LA Angels of Anaheim, and last night was the rubber game. They won 11-5, and they were ahead. Seemed right from the start, and right in the middle of it was the hottest hitter on the Yankees, the captain, Derek Jeter.
Well, when you think back to last year, Derek Jeter had to answer a lot of questions at the beginning of the season because he got off to a slow start. He does not have to answer those questions this year. Last night, a fastball out over the plate, ball jumps off his bat, a 3-run home run going the other way. He has 15 hits in 9 games, a red-hot start for Derek Jeter.
Look at his numbers. They jump out at you. 366, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 6 ribbies, scored 5 runs. In fact, since the day he got his 3,000th hit, and this does show that maybe it was on his mind, he's hitting 342 since that day, July 9th of last season. Let's take a look at tonight's starting pitching matchup. Carl Pavano will go for the Twins 0-1, 5.93. And for the Yankees, Freddie Garcia looking for his first win, and now trying to bounce back from a subpar performance against the Orioles.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Michael. And look, he had a good spring training last year. I thought it was a great find, 12 wins. This guy's a veteran pitcher. Yes, the ball was up in the zone. He talked about, hey, he didn't have a good feel on his split finger. A little bit of trouble there. When he's off, fastball was hitting Nick Johnson in the head. When he's off with that split, it almost looks like a slider. And in many instances, Russell Martin had a real tough time. The 5 wild pitches was not good. Watch for Freddie Garcia to be better with that split finger today and have better command on the fastball.
The Twins are in town with Mauer and Morneau. They need them both in the lineup. They need them healthy. That has not been the case that much over the last couple of years. When we come back, John Flaherty will explain why they need to be together for the Twins to win. And you can see their production. Then it has dropped steadily since then, and that has really affected the Twins. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Yankees baseball. Al Leiter will rejoin us in just a moment. That's John Flaherty. I'm Michael K. They need to get these two guys on the field and keep them on the field, and maybe they take a step toward that today by having Morneau play first base.
Well, he gets back to first base. Obviously good news for the Twins, but they have to keep both of these guys healthy and in the middle of the lineup. And I think you have to take it a step further with this Minnesota Twins team. They don't have a lot of protection around them. They have to be the all-star players that they have been in the past. Ron Gardner has to keep them healthy and productive if the Twins have a chance.
So Morneau plays his first game at first base, and that allows Maurer to be the DH, so when he's not catching, you can still keep his bat in the lineup.
You know, it's a valuable weapon to have, keep his bat in the lineup. But again, he can't be the Joe Maurer who slapped the ball around a little bit last year when he was healthy for 82 games. He has to get back to that all-star form and show a little bit more power.
Should be interesting to see how this team responds to 4 games in the Bronx here against the Yankees. When we get back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees and the Twins coming up next right here on Yes. Baseball bingo and won a chance to pitch from the mound at Yankee Stadium for $1 million. By Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, and by the professionals at your Tri-State GMC dealer. Why just go when you can go pro? An unseasonably warm day here in New York City. Absolutely gorgeous. Great day for baseball. The Yankees against the Twins. Freddie Garcia is on the mound. The Yankees have taken the field. He's taking his warm-ups. And we'll take a look at tonight's Twins starting lineup presented by Burger King. Denard's fan in center field will lead off. Batting second, playing shortstop, Jamie Carroll. Joe Maurer, the DH, will hit third. Josh Willingham in left field will clean up. Batting fifth, playing first base, Justin Morneau. Brian Dumit is the catcher. He's going to bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing third base, Danny Valencia. Cleet Thomas in right field will bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing second base, Alexi Casilla.
On the mound, Freddie Garcia, 35-year-old right-hander, veteran pitcher, knows how to pitch, use all of his pitches. Just a little rough start down in Baltimore. Eventual Yankees win. There you see the ERA because of that start, 4 2/3. Didn't get it through 5 innings, through 98 pitches. Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report on Freddie. Talk about a guy late movement. There's a lot of movement. Sinker, slider. His split is really his outpitch, not only to left-handers but right-handers. Venezuelan leader. How about this? First all-time in wins and innings pitched. Third in strikeouts behind Johan Santana and Carlos Zambrano. And the wild side, those 5 wild pitches tied an American League record. And also a single-game franchise record. Not one that you want, John Flaherty.
A way to start the year, right? Record holder, not the ones you want.
Twins come into the game 2-7. Garcia's ready. Span is ready. Let's do it in the Bronx. And the first pitch is a strike. We are underway.
Wow, you talked about those split finger fastballs and all the wild pitches. You remember back to last year and in spring training, it seems like he can throw that pitch in his sleep, but for some reason in Baltimore had a tough time.
There's a strike. 69 miles an hour.
You know, I was talking to Larry Rothschild, John, and I get. Were you doing the game down in Baltimore?
Yep.
Was it cold or colder? I know it was cold in Florida. And really, folks, what you want to feel, you want a little sweat to feel the baseball, and especially on a split finger. You know this, John, where if you don't have a good feel coming off your fingertips, there's a nice one there. But still, it's cutting. That split finger should have an effect that's going down and away on the lefty and in on the right-hander.
You saw that one there, almost looked like a slider, and you mentioned it in the open. When that split looks like a slider, probably not the best news for Freddie. Needs to go more down, possibly down and away to a lefty.
The 0-2. Strike 3. Span down looking. Check out the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. It's your pretty typical Yankee lineup. In the outfield, it's Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher. In the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. And Russell Martin behind the plate with Freddie Garcia on the mound. Here's Jamie Carroll. Count 1-0.
I know often you'll hear TV folks, people who cover the game that replayed it, say it's a real pro. And Jamie Carroll's out. Came to the big leagues in '02 with the Montreal Expos, bounced around a little bit, Nationals, Colorado. Spent some time out there in LA. And really just puts it tough at bat. You know, scrappy, just a gritty guy. Midwest guy. There's scrappy, gritty. Rod Gardenhire.
You know, Al, to your point, I remember going out to L.A. when Carroll was playing for the Dodgers, and everybody out there around the cage saying, just watch this guy play for 3 days. You know, he's not one of those players that's going to impress you. You watch him one night, you watch him for 3 days. Good guy to have on the club. Kind of getting off to a slow start.
Humpback line drive up the middle. Grabbed on one hop by Cano. Fires the first, not in time. As Carroll beats it out.
Well, off the end of the bat, Robbie Cano going to his right, and as he always does, gets a lot on the throw and accurate, but Carroll a little bit too much speed. The ball was not hit that hard, and Robinson Cano covering a lot of ground, but just can't make the play. Infield hit for Carroll.
Here's Joe Mauer. The Twins so need him to be what he once was, 3-time batting champion. Loves hitting in the new Yankee Stadium, 316, 3 homers, 8 walks, 9 ribbies. And he's also 13 for 31 lifetime against Freddie Garcia. Got him beaten up last year after signing his big contract, and body was sore. Didn't see as much action as they had hoped. Tonight's closed captioning brought to you by Lexus.
Well, it's been injuries. Anybody watching baseball knows the game. This guy, it's really been upsetting as a baseball fan, because it has not just been, you know, the usual, if there is such a thing, usual baseball injuries. He had kidney problem where he had some DL time, his back, and his hernia, hamstring, quad. I mean, a lot of trouble keeping him on the field last few years.
And it's such a tough thing for the Twins. It was so important for them to keep their homegrown guy. He's from the Twin Cities, and they gave him this big contract. You see all the injuries since 2009. And although they have a bigger payroll than they used to because of Target Field, they can't have that much money tied up in a guy who's not producing, and they do for the next 7 years, including this one.
And I know a lot of it is injuries. What about the new field in Minnesota? I mean, it's a bigger ballpark. The Metrodome's such a great place to hit. He's a middle of the lineup guy. He's got to show a little bit more power. 3 home runs last year and only played in 82 games. But, you know, we got to be honest, guys. For the Twins to do anything this year, Mauer and Morneau have to be healthy, and they have to be productive players in order to try to compete in Central.
Runner goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Got it. Good throw by Martin to get Jamie Carroll.
You know, it's funny, guys, when I heard about Garcia in Baltimore having all those wild pitches, I wondered if Martin was behind the plate, because he was so good blocking and so good throwing. A great look right there at the flight of the baseball, right on the bag. A good look on Yes Mo.
He's safe.
It looked like he was safe. And actually watching in real time, it looked like the action was that he was out, and that's what obviously the umpire saw. Second base umpire Phil Cuzzy.
3-1. Here's a strike. What Mauer's done the last 4 seasons, and Target Field has swallowed him up. You cannot hit a home run there unless you club it to right field. It's one of the more difficult parts to hit a home run to right field, and he's a lefty hitter.
Well, that 2009 number, that was the last year of the Metrodome. 28 home runs, still 96 RBIs. The next year, he was healthy relatively. 510 at bats and 9 home runs. It's got to play in your mind.
But you know what the difference, though? You remember in the Metrodome, he was hitting balls the other way that were going out of the park. And I remember earlier in his career, those were doubles, got a little stronger and drove the ball the other way. You're not going to do that target field. It's not going to happen.
Three-two. Reading a story in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune where they did this whole survey, and the wind blows in so strong from the open area in target field and right field, and some Twins executives were asked, would you reconfigure the ballpark? I said, for every hitter that wants us to bring the fences in and lower them and close up that opening, the pitchers want it to be just as it is. Well, you're paying Mauer all the money, though.
And Morneau.
3-2. That one's driven out to left field. Going back is Gardner. He's going to play it off the wall as Mauer motors into second with a double.
Well, John, you were just talking about it, the Metrodome. This is a beautiful swing, and really, I mean, hopefully during the telecast, we head down on the baseball. This is a high fastball. It's actually a ball, but staying on the baseball, driving that ball. That's not just a little flare that happened to go to 318 feet. That ball was driven. Watch this ball here. Freddie just trying to get the ball, preferably down in the zone, up. Nice hitting going the other way. Gardner had a shot, but he bobbled it out there. Maybe had a closer play at second. Really pure hitter. But, you know, real quick, Michael, I want to go back, because that 28 home runs that got him that $184 million contract, that was a bit of an aberration, because even leading up to that, he was a mid-teens home run guy. And I think that got Minnesota front office excited, as well as around baseball, if you remember that big sign of as to how he ended up getting the contract that he got.
There's Josh Willingham, 9-game hitting streak. He's hit in every game this year. And now it's a 10-game hitting streak. Mauer chugs around third. The ball mishandled by Gardner. That will allow Mauer to score. It's an RBI single for Willingham. And the Twins have a run.
Well, Willingham brought in to replace Michael Kadire, and he's done a nice job early on. You mentioned the hitting streak, Michael, and does not waste any time. First pitch swinging. Brett Gardner is so quick getting rid of the ball, just overruns it a little bit. That allows Mauer to score. Would have been a play at home plate if he comes up with it clean. Nice piece of hitting with 2 outs by Willingham, and the Twins are on the board.
I mean, we're talking about the M&M boys. Willingham, watch here, that little boot, the aggressive play by Gardner. Maybe it would have been certainly a closer play.
There's a strike to Justin Morneau. That's the first inning run that the Twins have scored all year. Now Morneau has been really bothered by concussion syndromes all of last year and in spring training. And that's why they made him exclusively a DH. He was going stir crazy, and he told Ron Gardner, I have to get back out on the field. Now the Twins want him to play first, but they also don't want to exacerbate the problem. And the reason they put him to DH was in spring training, he kind of flinched at a ground ball at first base, and Gardner said, if you're going to play like that, you're going to get hurt. So he made him exclusively a DH, but now they're giving him a try today at first base today. Hammered foul.
Well, we mentioned in segment 2, Michael, I mean, if he plays first base, it gives the Twins and Ron Gardenhire a little flexibility with the DH spot, which Mauer is in tonight. You feel bad for Morneau and all the problems that he's had through his career. Concussions, pinched nerves. He's a guy who was an MVP, having a tough time staying out on the field. Only 69 games last year. He's beat up the Yankees in the past and likes sitting here at the new stadium.
Well, at the new stadium, 17 for 37. 4 homers and 6 ribbies. That's in 10 games. Not too bad. Two.
Yeah, you look at the 2 left-handers that we're talking about, and Michael, you just gave this. We saw the stats here at the stadium. Freddie Garcia, for whatever reason, maybe John, you can expand on it. The Similar style hitters, except a lot more pop from Morneau. But 419 lifetime against Garcia, 207 Morneau against Garcia. Tougher with those split fingers in the dirt.
That one is looped into right field, a base hit. Willingham will go to third. Granderson gets the ball in, so Morneau didn't hit it hard, but placed it perfectly. And the Twins have runners on first and third. Still 2 outs.
I think this tells you everything you need to know about the split finger early. It's not a bad pitch. You watch the location down in the zone, but it doesn't have that good sharp bite to it. Morneau able to stay through it, Al, and drive it into right center.
You know what? And also, I'm curious is the fact that Freddie doesn't throw as hard. Now, you know, the normal major league average fastball you'll see night in, night out, 89, about 93. If you're below that, you don't honor it as much. Not that you don't think it could blow by you, but you can sit longer, wait for off speed.
You can almost sit for an off speed pitch and still foul off the fastball. You don't have to respect it as much.
Which is, I think, what we just saw with Morneau. That was location wise was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Here's Ryan Domit, and he takes the pitch low. Domit's the backup catcher to Mauer, and they've been playing him in the outfield. But when they play him in the outfield and Mauer's catching, if they want to improve their defense late in the game, they can't do it because they can't take their second catcher out. So by Mauer DHing today, you can have Domit as the catcher. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 72 degrees, just beautiful day. Humidity 44%, wind 11 miles per hour, and they're expecting clear skies throughout the game. Line drive, a base hit to right field. That'll score Willingham. Morneau stops at second, an RBI single for Domit, and it's 2-0 Twins.
Well, this is one of those moments Larry Rothschild's going to come out here, settle him down. Let's see the location here. This ball is up 88 miles an hour. Domit just loving it, as every major league hitter does. And the 88 mile an hour fastball not sinking. And as John said, what we just saw with the split finger, when you have a guy that's relying on movement, it's not just the movement out of their hand, it's late movement. That's where you get the crispness. Look at that. That's an almost center cut. Up middle of the plate, head down, nice hitting through that baseball, driving it. And I'll tell you, when you're up in the zone, Larry Rothschild watching it, just battle through it. I know it's a couple runs and it looks like you're scrambling, but I know Freddie Garcia has pitched long enough, and you can't worry about what's taking place right now. You get it out here, you get out of this inning.
Paul Pavano has at least a 2-0 lead before he takes the mound. Here's Danny Valencia. There's a strike. Count 0-2.
Good pitch right there. Looked like Freddie may be going more to the curveball slider, staying away from the split a little bit. We'll get another look at it. Like a slider down and away. Pretty good pitch. If there's adjustments during the inning, Larry Rothschild going out and having a little talk.
Danny Valencia, a young player, 27 years old, but hasn't played much in the big leagues. 2010, he was up part of the year last year every day. Good, solid player when he's right, like most major league hitters. He's 207 right now. Drives the ball to right field well, staying away.
Swing and a miss. And Garcia finally gets the third out. But 5 straight hits. If not for the caught stealing, it could be worse than Twins 2, and the Yankees coming to bat. The Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. The red-hot captain and the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Alex Rodriguez at third base will hit third. Cleaning up second baseman, Robinson Cano. Mark Teixeira's at first base, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Raul Ibanez at DH will hit seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Russell Martin. And Brett Gardner is at left field, and he is going to bat ninth.
Carl Pavano on the mound, 35-year-old right-hander. Had a rough year last year, his first year with the Twins, 2010, 17 and 11. There you see his record so far. Struggled some, 13 and 2/3 innings. Got pretty deep against the Angels in his last start. Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report. First pitch strikes. Last year he was the 5th best pitcher in Major League Baseball. 66% of the time, strike one. That's what you're taught. Throws a lot of strikes. Velocity down. Averaging 85 miles an hour this year. Not good. You have to hit your spots. 262 hits. He led the American League in giving up hits for the minimum of 190 innings. Not good.
Velocity in the mid-80s.
85. Hit his last two. You know the pitch FX stuff, you know, where they're tracking everything now in baseball. It's been right around 85. So we'll watch tonight.
Jeter drives one deep to right field. Going back, Thomas looking up. See ya! A home run for the captain. His hot streak continues. Yankees on the board. 2-1 Twins.
Well, Joe Girardi has to love that. He saw Derek Jeter go the other way last night. A 3-run shot against the Angels. Does not waste a whole lot of time here. Fastball supposed to be inside. It stays middle and runs to the inner half. And as Derek Jeter has been doing this year, driving the ball the other way, his 3rd home run already, and the Yankees on the board.
Take a look at the Coors Light cold hard blast off the bat of Jeter.
And a fastball supposed to run in on the hands. It does not get there. Derek beats him to the spot.
That one is drilled deep to right. Fair ball, it's gone. It is gone. See ya. Back to back to the Yankees. Granderson goes yard. The game is tied at 2.
Well, how nice for the Yankees, back to back. You see, it was supposed to be a fastball away. You talk about getting a little bit hot. Granderson's starting to feel it. His 3rd home run on the year. Bomb, almost the second deck. Wasn't a second deck. Deep. Poor location, both pitches. Yankee hitters capitalizing.
Alex Rodriguez grounds one in the hole. Diving stop by Valencia. Gets to his feet, fires, and it gets past Morneau. A base hit for Rodriguez. So the Yankees have come out swinging.
Well, the Yankees got the scouting report from Kevin Long and Charlie Wands in the clubhouse. Come out and be aggressive. Valencia, nice play to get to it. The throw a little bit low. And remember, Morneau, first game at first base tonight, not able to knock it down and keep him in front. And that's going to allow Alex Rodriguez to advance a second on the throwing error by Valencia. Al, I'm thinking back when you said 85, 86 miles an hour. This is what a major league hitter will do when you have a fastball that's in the mid-80s. I mean, you hate to say it's batting practice, but you have to be absolutely perfect with your location, and Carl Pavano has not been in the first inning.
You know, you'll hear often, I know you know this, John, that somebody is below hitting speed. This is hitting speed. This is ripe hitting speed. If you're not on, you better change speeds.
Pitch outside the Cano.
And Michael, I say that, you know, in honor of a fellow left-hander. You got Jamie Moyer out there in Colorado, 49 years old. You know, here's a guy, he's throwing upper 70s. Now it becomes the frustrated other side of it. Whereas this here, 85, 86, John, you'd be.
Boy, if you miss in the middle, I might even be able to hit that.
I wanted you to finish that.
I'd say might be able to hit.
Right.
Well, there's the adjustment right there. Looked like a little split finger in a fastball count. Carl realizing he doesn't have the velocity, doesn't have the location. You go to plan B and do not give in with the fastball. Robinson Cano thinking he's going to get that 85, 86, and he gets about 77 down and in.
Good pitch.
was watching the game last night, and Robinson Cano had a take where he's out on his front foot, really frustrated with himself. And you know, great hitters know even when they take pitches, they don't feel 100% right. And you just think back to that fastball there, 87 miles an hour, not overpowering, and it beat Robinson a little bit. I think more because he's drifting forward more than anything else. You know, that's not going to last long. He will get hot sooner than later.
Yankees trying to do something right here they have not done in their first 9 games. They have not had 1 RBI out of the cleanup spot. They're the only major league team without an RBI from the 4th spot in the order. Cano has 1 ribby, but that was when he was batting 3rd.
You know, when you think about the Yankee lineup and the great players, of course that's going to change as this year goes along because they're very good hitters, but they have not gotten RBI at the 4th spot. So
still above 500.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that. I mean, to think of the what ifs and the length of different areas in which you can get your offense. Obviously, 4th hitters, big power.
Swing and a miss, got him. So Cano down on strikes. Let's take a look at the Twins defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. There's no defense against Derek Jeter the way he's hitting. But this is how they'll try. Willingham, Span, and Thomas left to right. Infield, Valencia, Carroll, Casilla, and Morneau. Domit behind the plate, and Pavano on the mound. There's Mark Teixeira.
Watching the defense set up here for the Twins, shading Mark Teixeira a little bit to the right side, not that exaggerated shift obviously with Alex Rodriguez. Carroll playing behind him. A couple of good takes by Mark right there. Looked like he saw the ball pretty well out of Pavano's hand. You wonder with first base open, Mike Swisher on deck. If I'm a catcher right there, Al, I'm saying, wow, that he just picked up both of those pitches really well. Maybe you want to be careful here. Right at him.
You know, I wonder. I mean, can you just mind cramp yourself? There's 2-0, 87 down the middle. You know, one would say, wow, what are you looking for? But you start thinking into the at-bat, just as you did.
You start thinking as a hitter, there's no way he's going to give in to me. I have first base open. He doesn't have his good fastball. And you know what? He throws it right down the middle at 87, and you take it.
2-2. For some reason heading away from the stadium. Got a good game here. Going home to catch it on yes. Missed inside. Got the velocity to 88 on that fastball.
You see a little reaction from Pavano there. Wanted to get that call from home plate umpire Gary Davis. He knows he doesn't have great stuff. He needs maybe an inch or two off the corner and did not get it there. Jerry Davis, I'm sorry.
There it is. Fastball, 2-0, thinking backwards. Then he misses the heater up. I think it was a little high, and then comes back with 3-2 change. This is what Carl Pavano has to do as we're talking right now. Anybody with the velocity of a major league pitcher that's not plus stuff, which is in that 93 or better zone, you got to pitch backwards, just as he just did that last pitch. Let's see if he doubles up.
Line drive, base hit, down the right field line. Rodriguez rounds 3rd. He will score. Teixeira stops at first. It's an RBI single, and the Yankees take a 3-2 lead.
Well, it's amazing how quickly it changes for the Minnesota Twins, who have had their problems playing against the Yankees. 2-0 lead has evaporated on this swing right here from Mark Teixeira. Fastball down and in. Easy for a left-handed hitter just to drop the bat head, driving it into right field. Alex Rodriguez scores easily. And the Yankees quickly here in the bottom of the first jump ahead 3-2.
That'll bring up Nick Swisher. Nick with 11 RBIs. Strike.
Tied with the AL lead. Carlos Pena. Now with Tampa Bay, 11 RBIs.
Pena got 4 in the first inning of the first game. The 0-1. One thing the Twins pitchers will not do, they will not walk you. In 9 games, they have 19 walks, and that's tied with the Phillies for the fewest in baseball. But sometimes if your stuff isn't good, you don't need great control.
Although, Michael, I mean, that's big. Over the years, Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, he's been there for years. That's what he preaches. And even, to your point, you know, look, Pavano on the mound. I mean, last year he went 222 innings. There's Rick Anderson, the pitching coach for the Twins. 222 innings, 262 hits. However, if you compound that with walking guys and you still have similar stuff, now you're in real trouble. Because that whole whip thing goes real high.
Don't you think in the back we were talking about Twins teams that play great defense, so you pitch to contact? That hasn't been the case last year and the beginning of this year.
High drive, deep right center, but it's in the park. Clete Thomas is called off by Span. Span makes the catch for the second out.
Well, Clete Thomas, who just came over from the Detroit Tigers, picked up on waivers, and a little miscommunication with Span, the center fielder, comes over and makes the play. It'll take a little time for those two guys to get on the same page.
Here's Raul Ibanez, who hit a monster home run into the upper deck in right field. Game was on ESPN. They had a great shot of Torrey Hunter looking back toward the field going, wow. And according to ESPN, that is the second home run ever hit in the upper deck in right field. The other one, Russell Branyan. Mark Teixeira hit one into the suites underneath the upper deck. But to go into the seats, now it's Ibanez and Branyan. Popped up. Carroll called off by Willingham, who makes the play. Well, the Yankees take the lead, and it started out loud and with a bang. In fact, back-to-back bangs. Derek Jeter and Curtis Granderson lead off with back-to-back. Last time that happened, Jeter and Cano back in 05 against Toronto. Tonight's question is, Which of these Twins will most likely return to all-star form? You can text your vote the 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it Liriano? Is it Maurer? Or is it Morneau? Here's Cleet Thomas, claimed on waivers from the Tigers a couple of days ago. And they really need hitting, so he's right in the lineup. Tigers really liked him, but numbers crunch, roster-wise, tried to send him down. And the Twins jump on him.
Well, you see, he has a 3 at-bats, 1 home run yesterday. Actually hit a couple of balls hard yesterday. And Gardenhire liked what he saw. He's back in there tonight.
His father's favorite player was former Yankee Clete Boyer, and he is named after Clete Boyer.
Yeah, see, Al, this is what's incredible about working with Michael Kay. This guy just got picked up on waivers a few days ago, and he has that story waiting for him. Incredible.
Here's the 1-2. Grounded to first, backing up is Teixeira. He'll flip to Garcia. One away. That'll bring up Alexei Casilla.
Guys, I was thinking about the Twins coming in here to the stadium. 2-7 to this point during the year. Got swept in Texas. Have 4 games against the Yankees. It has not gone well in recent history. And then they have to move on to Tampa Bay. 3 games down there. I mean, you're at the beginning of your season. Your season could almost be over before it starts.
And this is so totally not your typical Twins team, John. And it's frustrating for Gardenhire, who likes to run, likes to send runners. And if you look from 2 to 7 in their lineup, they can't run. It's a plodding team. It's completely the opposite of the type of team that used to succeed with Minnesota.
You know, I think back to those Minnesota teams that were always in the playoffs. They were so fundamentally sound, ran the bases well. You mentioned the speed, but also just made the routine play. Last year, it was so different watching this team because they didn't play Ron Gardenhire type baseball.
Billy Smith, their GM, was relieved of his duties, and Terry Ryan, who built the Twins team that always seemed to be going to the playoffs, he is back in charge as the GM.
Well, you know, when you lock up a lot of money, even though the new stadium, Michael, you mentioned, yes, it brings in more revenue, beautiful new ballpark, open air. You lock up almost $50 million for a club that, you know, is have a tough time generating revenue to a point to where you have to have other suitable supporting cast.
Teixeira retires Casilla two-way.
They are now in that position of going out and having to cherry pick. I thought Josh Willingham was a great pickup. This Cleet Thomas, I think there could be a ripple effect to getting him more starts in the outfield because of what potentially happened if Morneau could play first, and you get some more chances for Maurer to either DH or play behind the plate.
Here's Denard Span, who struck out in the first inning against Garcia. Fouled the other way.
You know, John, and along with being fundamentally sound, even though they didn't have gas pitchers, guys with plus stuff. I mean, I go back to Radke, when he was there, and you know, Baker's always done a nice job. He's down now; he's hurt. Blackburn, it looks like they got good news with his MRI. You know, good pitchers, but not overwhelming stuff guys. You know, certainly go back to Johan Santana. That was very impressive for a guy that, you know, win Cy Youngs the way he did. So it was pitching and defense. You're right.
That one is loop left side. Jeter over, makes the play, and a nice bounce back inning for Freddie Garcia as he retires. The Twins in order. For the Yankees in the bottom of the second, it'll be Martin Gardner and the red-hot captain Derek Jeter coming up next. Cablevision customers, you won't have to miss a game again now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Optimum Online. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $49.99 if you're an Optimum Online customer who watches Yes on IOTV. Go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Slow roller by Martin is fielded by Pavano, one away. Let's see if Pavano could bounce back after a rocky first inning.
Well, one pitch, one out. That's a big boost for a pitcher who had such a rough first inning. Freddie Garcia was able to do it.
Here's Brett Gardner. Valencia in on the grass at third. Count 0-1.
Well, I'm thinking back when pitching coaches would come up to me after a pitcher had a rough inning, a lot of pitches, say, hey, you got to get him back in here with a low pitch count. And my first thought was, you got to throw breaking balls early in a count, trying to get a swing, maybe a ground ball, stay away from the fastball a little bit.
They would say that to you. Thank God I wasn't pitching for you.
They would come over and whisper, oh, man, his pitch count's up already. You got to get him through a quick inning. How am I supposed to do that? All right, got Carl Pavano here. Let's see if we can go with some splits early, maybe get some swings.
That one's driven deep to center field. Span back. He has room, and he makes the play for the second out.
We'll throw a fastball right down the middle and play it to the big part of the park.
You know what? I could tell you I've done that a lot, especially with a guy who's not a home run hitter like Brett Gardner. You think outer third. You got the big part of the park here, Yankee Stadium. Stay away from right field. The outer part, even though you're only throwing 87, 88 with a little movement, tough to pull that ball. Take advantage of 399 left center to 385 right center.
Here's Jeter, hit his third home run of the year. Leadoff shot in the first. He didn't hit his third home run last year until July 9th. Also, we're going to have to start calling Derek Dr. Jeter. Siena College in Loudonville, New York is going to give an honorary doctorate to Derek next month.
My older brother Jay Flaherty went to Siena. Ooh. Graduate.
Does he have anything to do with this?
He's a huge Met fan, so I'm sure he had nothing to do with that.
It's up in Albany. Near Albany,
yeah.
right?
That's right.
They have good basketball. What's he doctorate of?
Don't know. It's an honorary doctorate. I have no idea.
Doctor of hitting.
I got an honorary doctorate degree from St. Thomas Aquinas College.
Down in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, in Rockland County, New York.
There's a St. Thomas Aquinas down in Miami.
So you actually should be called Dr. Flaherty.
I am referred to as Dr. Flaherty in the St. Thomas Aquinas community.
Wow.
And I told my kids I want that to be referenced in my home. I want to be referred to as Dr. Flaherty.
Dr. Dad?
That has not worked out too well so far.
All right, so now you can help me on this. What is the doctorate in? Is there like a title?
It's a good question. I'm sure that
Just
there
make
is.
something up.
But you know what? I was actually excited because I never went through my graduation ceremony at GW. So Stack asked me to go through their ceremony. Had the gown and the cap and the whole 9 yards. Got my honorary degree and moved on.
Wow, that jumped up and hit Jeter. Almost got him in the face.
Well, you cringe when you see something like this, especially for Derek, who's gotten off to such a hot start. Looks like no damage was done there. A little slider off the end of the bat. It's the bill of the helmet. Shouldn't be a problem. And when you're red hot like Derek is, you don't want any bumps or bruises. Just keep going.
Or when you're red hot, you spoil a pitcher's pitch right there. Yeah. That was a nasty slider just off the plate.
Chop left side. It'll be a tough play, and Jeter beats it out. Carroll charged and made it close, but Jeter's so fast out of the box this year, he gets an infield single.
Well, this is the way you want to start off the season. When you hit the ball hard, it's a double or a home run. When you don't hit it well, you get jammed, and you still have enough speed to beat it out. Carroll makes a pretty good play, a low throw, but Derek Jeter got out of the box great, like you said, Michael. He was able to beat it out for an infield hit. When you are hot, you are hot.
How many of those singles have we seen Derek Jeter have? Hustle.
That's got to be frustrating, Al. I mean, you make a pitch if you're Pavano. Could have been a 1-2-3 inning. Now you got Granderson up there who just took you deep. His first at bat. Got to go finish off an inning here if you're Pavano.
How about this stat? 14 of Jeter's 17 total hits this season have gone to the outfield, including 7 for extra bases. Last season, Jeter did not collect his 13th hit to the outfield until his 20th game, and he didn't register his 6th extra base hit of the year until his 40th game. He really struggled, and when he had that calf injury, went back down to Tampa, worked with Gary Denbo, kind of got back to basics, and it worked out.
Well, it's amazing what the basics were, too. Just his head was moving forward a little bit, kept it still and behind the baseball, and all of a sudden, pitches slowed down for him, was able to recognize and react, had a big second half, good spring training, and here he is, raking early on.
We showed the stat on our open. I believe he's hitting 342 coming into this game since the day he got his 3,000th hit. And he did admit afterward he was feeling some pressure, especially to get it at home. But that trip to Tampa probably solved it more than the 3,000th hit. Line drive caught there by Casilla, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We've played 2. Yankees lead 3-2. Happened to the Twins. Let's take a look at this team capsule. 63-99, most losses since '82. American League worst, 103 home runs, a lot of them swallowed up by Target Field. Maurer and Morneau, those are the M&M boys, had 7 home runs last year. And then they lose Kadire and Kubel to free agency. And all of that adds up to 2-7 for Ron Gardenhire right now, 9 games into the season. Here's Jamie Carroll, and there's a strike. Lincoln scoreboard, 3-5-0 Yankees, 2-5-1 for the Twins.
Didn't you guys feel the Twins had a big home field advantage in the Metrodome? You know, visiting team, you go in there, you have to deal with the roof and the fast surface. That's thrown out the window now with the new stadium, as beautiful as it is.
Wow, that roof, with that roof alone, you know, I remember teams, I don't know if your clubs would come out early, you'd see the outfield, just everybody just seeing fly balls. Try to get as many visuals of that big target.
Two-one. Carroll's really a Twins type of player, because if you go back to 2003, he's committed 50 errors since that time. That's about 9 years, and that's the 5th fewest by any infielder. They want people that are going to catch the ball. The 2-2. Cano gobbles it up, makes the play. Now, when you come in 2-7 to start a 4-game series against the Yankees, that's the last thing that Ron Gardenhire needs. Because since he took over the Twins as their manager in 2002, they are 18-51 against the Yankees. And here at Yankee Stadium, they're 5-28. Or here in the Bronx, because that includes the old Yankee Stadium as well. They just have not done well. And these are not bad Twin teams. These are competitive Twin teams that simply can't get it done against the Yankees. A couple of times the Yankees got them in the playoffs as well.
You know, when I saw that stat as well, Michael, I thought, you know, so many times over the years, you play for a team and they come and say, well, you know, that team's got your number. And I'm thinking, well, you're going back when? And we don't even have the same roster. Like, really? But then you start looking at, as bad as the numbers are against the Yankees, you start believing it. Even though you want to fight it, because it becomes a story.
Now, including the postseason, 20-63 for Gardenhire. In 2009, 0-10, including the postseason. And he lost all 4 ALDS matchups against the Yankees. That's more than a coincidence.
But even just think about this game. We're 2 1/3 here through in this ball game. Twins had a 2-0 lead, quickly evaporated. 3-2 now. They're losing. And as Al pointed out, you start thinking, all right, here we go again.
Yep.
You know, because the media has talked about it. You got to find a way to play 9 innings, 27 outs, and get a win. Not easy for the Twins to do here.
2-2.
$50 pitches already for Freddie Garcia. 34 strikes, 16 balls.
Well, there's a settle down effect for every pitcher. And I always believed it, because I was one of those pitchers. The first inning was the most difficult, because it's a matter of the transition from the bullpen. What's working, what's not? Do I feel great? How's it coming out of my hand? If you're a 4-pitch pitcher, many major league pitchers are, you know, which of my secondary pitches are better than the others? And it's a feel, the first inning, especially here. I mean, great shot there of Freddie's split finger fastball. Sets it up as a split, doesn't change. Here comes split.
Rolls over on that one and grounds it to Teixeira for the second half.
And where, Michael, I think you get a guy that settles down would be a guy like Freddie Garcia or a Pavano, because they can find what's working and what's not. And then all of a sudden you breathe through a couple innings. Maybe you have a couple 10-pitch innings, and you find yourself in the 5th inning, what looked like it could have been a nightmare for both of these guys. You're able to settle in. Happens often.
Garcia has retired 7 straight batters. Check that, 6 straight. Coming into this game, Willingham had the 3rd highest batting average, .419 in the big leagues. First was Mr. Kemp. Next one was Mr. Ortiz. Can you be hotter than Kemp of the Dodgers?
No.
6 home runs, I think.
How about the Dodger ball club as a whole?
9-1 under Don Mattingly.
Wow.
It's been against the Pirates and the Padres, but still, it's on the schedule. They're 9-1. And you talk to people around baseball, and they really are unanimous in feeling that Don Mattingly has become a really good manager, a guy who really motivates his team and gets them to play hard and play the right way.
The one thing that I knew about Don Mattingly going out there, I didn't know what kind of a manager he would be, but I guarantee you that every player on that team feels like he has their back. You know, he was always, as a hitting instructor, he always felt like he was in the box with you, even if you were the 25th guy in the team. But I think from a managing standpoint, that's got to feel good for their entire roster.
Strike 3. Willingham down looking. Now it's 7 in a row for Freddie Garcia. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Alex Rodriguez will lead off against Carl Pavano. Yankees lead 3-2. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Burger King, by Acura, Acura Advanced, and by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Looks pretty good. Long line, so it must be good. Lincoln scoreboard 3-2. Which is high. That one is driven to left field. It is a base hit. Willingham gets the ball in, and Alex Rodriguez is 2 for 2.
Alex getting hot as well. Foot down. A little hanging off speed pitch. Middle of the plate. Nice swing. Alex always working hard during batting practice with Kevin Long. Willingham thought he might have given it a shot, but had some topspin on it.
Good look at Pavano's delivery right there. A fastball 87 that was down and away. And, you know, I caught him when he was a Yankee. And the first thing that jumped out at me was that front left shoulder, how he really drops it and hides the baseball. Kind of even at 87, he's got a little deception.
Ground ball is short. Let's see if they turn two. There's one on to first. It's a double play.
A little deception on the fastball down and away, and Carroll does a nice job with the flip over to Casilla at second base. An athletic turn. And this is what we're used to seeing from the Minnesota Twins in the past. A fundamentally sound defensive ball club. Pavano makes the pitch. It's rewarded with 2 outs.
Casilla looked like he was thinking A-Rod was coming down, bearing on him. See that second baseman run toward the shortstop if somebody's going to be coming in hard.
There's a strike.
It'll be really interesting to watch Mark Teixeira this year and watch the approach and batting practice and spring training. Everything was the other way, middle of the field the other way. And you wonder, Al, how long will he keep that approach? You know, you look up there now, he does not have a home run yet, and obviously you don't panic in the 10th game of the season, but it starts playing on you a little bit when you're a power guy. You want to get that first one on the board.
Well, did you have any time during your career where you made a concerted effort to make a significant change? I think trying to go the other way is significant for a guy who's been a pull hitter his whole career.
Good numbers against Pavano.
3-2.
You know, I think right there in a 3-1 count out, you know, you take your shot. You know, I got a chance with 2 outs, maybe to hit one in the seats, give us another run. Didn't work out, gets a split finger. But looking for a fastball, looking to try to do some damage, and swings right over the top. Now maybe you go back, middle of the field the other way. If he makes a mistake, I'll pull it.
Right in on the hands. Charging is Casilla. He makes a nice play to get to Sheriff for the final out of the third. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the fourth. Justin Morneau will lead off. New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Good question. Which 2 players won a championship with the 1991 Twins and the 1998-99 Yankees? We know this one.
Whoa. We?
Well, I got one. You got another. John, I don't know if he even looked at it. He was doing something else. I mean,
I helped you get. the answer.
You want an award or a chest to pin it on?
Because I get them all wrong. That's why it's very...
Well, I said we. I didn't say I, so why would you correct me? I said we got it.
All right, it's all good, Mike. I like you, buddy.
Now, who's wrong on this one, John?
Well, can't we all just get along?
Ground ball to short right field. Cano will get more no. Now, we had mentioned that Ibanez is only the second player, ESPN had reported yesterday, our good buddy Buster Olney, only the second player to go into the upper tank in right field. The other one being Russell Branyan. Joe Girardi comes out. And is something is...
Well, it was a broken bat.
Happened with Leon Mark Littlefield, with one of the trainers, put a Band-Aid on that. Anyway, my Twitter feed blowing up. A lot of fans say that the A's Brandon Allen also hit one in the upper deck and left.
In left field.
No, in right field. In right field. This is last night's. Oh, what a shot. Did that go into the suite level?
No, I think it hit the Primo sign and then fell into.
Well, then that doesn't even count.
That's third deck. Who'd you say reported
Mark
on that?
Teixeira did that last year, right?
Mark Teixeira definitely hit one into the suite area, yes. So, attending to Jerry Davis. Let's see if we see how he got hurt. His right hand.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. Looked like he got speared. Shattered completely. Watch the barrel come around and then the pointy end.
Just thinking, as a catcher, you're always taught to have that right throwing hand behind your back or maybe behind the shin guard. Jerry Davis had it exposed there on his right knee. Paid the price.
Here's Ryan Domit. RBI single in the first inning. That's the last Twin to get on base. 8 in a row for Freddie Garcia, who was settled down last time. Didn't get out of the fifth inning, 4 2/3, had 5 wild pitches.
Made a nice adjustment. We've seen a lot more sliders from Garcia in the middle innings. Kind of going to the split finger a little bit less, and it's a little bit more effective.
Driven out into left center. Long run for Granderson, and he makes the play. A good jump.
Here's another example of using the big part of the field. What happens? Ryan Domit sees fastball, but it actually was a changeup. Had enough late movement that tailed away from Domit. Put that little slice, and Granderson getting on his horse. Nice play. Went a long way. I know right field here at Yankee Stadium's the easiest place to hit it out, but if you can figure out a way as a pitcher to keep it from gap to gap, it becomes much more fair. Maybe in some cases, if you're able to pitch that way. Easier for the pitcher, of course. 399, 408 center, and 385 right center. It's a lot of space.
Also on Twitter, John, a lot of people saying that you probably were awarded a doctorate of humane letters.
Sounds right.
Humane?
Humane.
Like UMass?
You're cut off. Count 2-2 to Valencia. If you'd like to get in touch with any of us on Twitter, those are the ones that have Twitter accounts. Leiter does not.
No chance.
Why not?
Because I'd be barraged and insulted the whole time. Why would I want to subject myself to that?
I'm handling it fine. There's a ground ball at third. And Valencia is down. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings for Freddie Garcia after that rough first inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Nick Swisher leads off. Answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Which two players won a championship with the 91 Twins and 98-99 Yankees? We think it's Knobloch and Chili Davis. Let's see if we were right. We were right, Al.
We're right. You're right. You're right that we were right. I'm usually off mark on that. That's all. I was excited.
Nick Swisher will lead off against Carl Pavano. All the scoring in the first inning. Yankees lead 3-2. Yankees open up their half of the first with back-to-back home runs by Jeter and Granderson. First time they've led off a game with back-to-back home runs, the Yankees, since 2005. September of 2005 against Toronto.
Well, you brought up a good point before. I mean, there are some young pitchers out there who can watch this game and learn something. You have two veteran guys. Garcia and Pavano had a rough first inning, kind of made some adjustments along the way. Well, Pavano finds himself in the bottom of the fourth, settling down a little bit. Freddie Garcia the same.
Soft ground ball up the middle. Jamie Carroll gets Swisher for the first out. Let's check out the Delta League leaders, and we'll take a look at the RBI leaders in the American League. And Al told you this earlier, Swisher and Pena coming into tonight with 11. Then David Ortiz, who's been red hot, had 7 hits in a row at one point for the Red Sox this weekend. He has 10. Raul Ibanez 9, and 3 others have 9. But since those 3 others don't play for the Yankees, they get listed as 3 others. There's a strike to Ibanez.
I almost with your comment, John, about settling down. There are plenty of pitchers out there that do the old golly gee, I'm not on today, and implode.
High fly ball, right center, drifting back is Span for the second out.
And usually you'll see it more with younger pitchers because they just really don't know how to find that second and third game plan to eventually get back to what you and I, catcher pitcher, discussed an hour before the game of what we were trying to do to exploit hitters' weaknesses. And this is the moxie of, yes, Carl Pavano, veteran guy. He's had some nice seasons in the big league, certainly, of Freddie Garcia. And now, all of a sudden, you feel the mojo. You're starting to feel better about yourself. Still 86. 85, 86, he's popped a couple 87s, but there's a different look.
I remember talking to Mike Mussina before a game, Al. One of the starts is a backup that I was going to get. And I said, hey, you want to talk about the lineup? And he laughed at me and said, well, why would we do that? I mean, I'm going to go to the bullpen and figure out what I have, and we'll figure it out during the game. I don't want to predetermine how I'm going to get a lineup out if I might not have my good curveball or I might not have my good fastball. Let's go to the pen, figure it out, take it out to the game, and we'll figure it out once we're out.
That was Moose.
That was Moose.
Wow.
He didn't want to be locked in. Our good friend Mike Mussina didn't want to be locked in to how he was going to get a lineup or a certain hitter out because he might not have those weapons when he gets out there.
I'm fascinated by this. So now, was there a lot of shaking off or just a little shaking off?
There was a lot of shaking.
That's what I'm thinking. If I'm not remotely on the same page.
But Moose was like that, though. He almost wanted to shake off just to let you know that he was the one dictating the action, which, of course, pitchers are.
Strike three, Martin down looking, and the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. We go to the fifth inning. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 in the Yankee order against Freddie Garcia. Can he make it through 5? He didn't last time. We'll see now. We'll hear from Bob and Jack and Meredith a little bit later on. Some of the news and notes around Major League Baseball. James Shields was brilliant in a Patriot League game against the Red Sox, avoided a 4-game sweep. Bobby Valentine had to apologize to Kevin Youkilis, questioning Youkilis' physical and mental preparation for a game. Madison Bumgarner agrees to a 6-year, $35 million contract, and the Braves announced they will retire John Smoltz's number 29. Cleet Thomas lines one to center field, and Granderson is there for the first out. Bobby's making news in Boston,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
That definitely stood out for me looking at the news and notes.
How about Pedroia? Kind of came to Youkilis' defense there, saying we're comfortable with the way he plays. And how about the comment, though, Bobby will, what was it?
Learn how to do it our way.
Yeah. Very
and then
interesting.
another comment, he said, I guess that worked in Japan.
Ooh.
I mean, this is a very respected player on that team, Dustin Pedroia, who was the favorite of Terry Francona. And Bobby doesn't need to be getting into a match with Dustin Pedroia, who's really well liked in Boston.
Well, I haven't had Bobby Valentine as manager for 6 years, I think, 6 or 7. You know, if there's one thing, and you mentioned about Donnie Mattingly out in Los Angeles Dodgers, what the job he's doing is, you kind of get behind the closed door stuff. I had Jim Leland, he'll just sit down and just tell you like
Here
it is.
yeah.
There it is. But it hardly ever, if ever, got out to the press. And for as much as you don't want to hear it, most of the time they're right, because there's something you're struggling as a player, and yeah, your feelings are hurt, whatever. I'm not getting the job done, I'm getting booed. But for it to go out, and now the way things are apparently being discussed and written, it's kidding.
Well, one thing that I would take exception to what Pedroia said, that's not the way we do things here. Well, the way you did things here got your favorite manager fired. So things are going to change when they bring in a new manager. It's not going to be that way. That one's driven deep to right field. Going back is Swisher. He'll play it up the base of the wall. He fires the second, and Casillas in there with a double.
A little double with 1 out. Freddie Garcia, who has been cruising lately, looked like this may be a split down and in, speeding up Casillas' bat. You mentioned Michael Garcia trying to get through the 5th inning, could not do that his last outing.
The double by Casilla broke a streak of 11 straight Twins that went down against Garcia.
I've always liked Denard Span. This guy's a fast runner, very fast, covers a lot of ground. Reminds me a little bit of Kenny Lofton, all-time Major League outfielder. Spent many years in Cleveland. Just a slap hitter, slap it to left. Can drive the ball to right field.
They missed him last year. He was out with concussion syndrome as well. Had a hard time getting back on the field. Took their time with him, and here he is, off to a very good start.
It's amazing to me, guys, and Al, when we played, you didn't hear about the concussions. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. Obviously, a lot more attention now, a lot more knowledge about the damage that can be done, and for the right reasons, guys missing a lot of time to make sure they're healthy. But back when we played, maybe it explains why we are the way we are.
A little off center.
Yeah.
When you got smashed in the face, shagging balls in the outfield, did you get a concussion? Did they ever check for that?
No, to John's point, I think about more collisions that you saw, just like train kind of hit stuff at home plate. Often, I remember Piazza just getting level. How often that there probably was concussions going on, but they didn't know about it or they didn't check it.
I can remember times going out to the mound after a collision and just telling the pitcher, listen, this is not for you, this is for me. I need a minute here to regroup. And asking Jorge Posada, who went through some concussion syndromes, he said that's what he was experiencing, the lights, the stars, the whole 9 yards.
Span goes down swinging. Well, it's interesting. We had a chance to talk to Brian Roberts in Baltimore. Take a look at this strike 3.
Wow, this is a hanging split. Now, you see Span trying to identify, is that going to be a strike? Do I lay off? It's got enough downward dip, late dip. I think he's asking Jerry Davis, was that a strike? Watch it out of the hand. Nice rotation. Has enough late movement. That last 15 feet really was the difference for Span to say, I got a better swing at this. This might be a strike.
Sometimes as a hitter, you expect a pitch to end up in a certain area and it backs up. A backup slide or a backup split stays up in the zone. You swing right underneath it.
Got to bring up Jamie Carroll just to finish the point about Brian Roberts. He's been suffering from concussion syndromes for about a year, and he felt pretty good in spring training. He said you get used to the 8,000 people on a sellout. He said, but when he got to the big leagues with the different lights and the triple deck stadium, it just got him again. It set him back again. He's so frustrated. He wants to play. He's a really good player. He just can't get back on the field. how we should tell people as the throw comes into second base. In the minor leagues, you would jog in the outfield and somebody hit during BP, right? Smash you in the face.
Yes. AAA, you'll see pitchers do their running. And we had a pitching coach, Kenny Rowe, that used to like to do the football pass. So I was running center field. I met off the bat of Roberto Kelly. It was Columbus Clippers. Jay Buhner was there. What a few prospects in '87ish. And Rich Bordy, a veteran pitcher with the Orioles, got sent down to AAA. And he's watching me. He's watching the ball. He goes, "Wait a minute. He's not going to catch that ball." And it hit me right in the face, right in the nose, broke my nose. Ugh. Blisters.
Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Casilla rounds third. He's coming home. Here's the throw. Not in time. And the runner moves up on the throw. So Carroll gets an RBI. He's at second. And the game tied at 3.
Well, the Twins are going to like Carroll the way he plays the game. Every at bat, he's tried to go right back up the middle, and nothing different here with a sinking fastball inside. Does not try to pull it, just blocks it right back up the middle. Casilla, who runs well, is probably going to score on this anyway. Martin tries to come up and get the out at second base. He cannot, and Carroll advances into scoring position. Those pesky hitters, you know, it just drives you nuts right there. 2 outs, runners in scoring position.
Well, especially after getting the big strikeout with Span. With the double, that 1 out double, 2 outs.
Mauer swings and fouls the ball off. Count 0-1.
We mentioned Jamie Moyer. I mean, we saw a nice turn of double play. Started at 6-4-3 double play. Look, he 450 at bats, which is somewhat platoonish. 600 at bats or so is a full major league season. 290 with the Dodgers last year. I see Jamie Moyer. He's a pitcher.
Pretty good hitting pitcher though at 290.
And you're younger than him.
I know, he's still pitching. Good for him.
3-3 game. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Yankees and the Twins. First game of a 4-game set. Line drive down the right field line. It is a base hit. Carroll will score. Mauer chugs into second with an RBI double, and the Twins have retaken the lead. They're up 4-3.
Well, Freddie's not really showing how he really feels. Very frustrating. You get the 2 outs. Jamie Carroll fights off a fastball in. That is a split finger that just stays there as opposed to tumble down and away. This is a very good hitter. I don't care if he's not on the interstate yet. Joe Mauer has shown batting titles in the past. That ball just stayed down and in. Every left-handed hitter I know likes it down there. Good hitting. Big hit. Any 2-out RBI situation to deliver. You got Larry Rothschild calming him down.
Well, you think about the advance reports on Freddie Garcia. I mean, we watched him last year. A lot of times when he needs a big out, it's going to be the split finger as Rapata gets his gun going in the Yankee pen. And if you're going to throw a split with 2 strikes to a guy like Mauer, it better be down in the dirt. Mistake right there, and he paid the price.
Well, you said it. I mean, that's the frustration that could be the residual of giving up the 2-out hit to Jamie Carroll. You still respect Joe Mauer.
Yep.
You know, 242 coming into today or not. But as you said, John, an 0-2 count, that split's got to be better than that.
Here's Josh Willingham. Fly ball, shallow right, coming on as Swisher. He'll make the play. But Garcia gives back the lead. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 man left. We're halfway through. Yankees down by 1. look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, which of these twins will most likely return to all-star form? You've been texting us at 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. And here is how you voted. 45% think it's Maurer. Close behind, Morneau, and then Liriano. (4-3) as Gardner leads off here in the bottom of the fifth. Grounded right to Morneau. And he retires Gardner for the first out of the fifth.
Look at that pitch count for Carl Pavano, 62 with one out here in the fifth. Pretty respectable. Now finds himself with a one-run lead, 2 outs away from putting himself possibility in line for a win.
That's really good. Let's see how this inning plays out. 15 pitches an inning or less. That's great.
Ground ball grabbed there by Carroll. Jeter is retired for the second out.
And as an offensive frustration can set in a little bit, you scored 3 runs in the first inning, you start saying, wow, we're going to have a big night. Had some of those offensive stats. All of a sudden, 2 outs in the fifth inning, you're down by a run, haven't scored 3 2/3.
Granderson 1 for 2, homered in the first inning. Count 1-1.
You can see the rhythm from Pavano a lot better than it was early on. Gets on the mound, gets his sign, and goes. Of course, when I say that, he shakes off 2 pitches now.
Carl's always been a guy that likes to get the ball and go. Gets the ball and go. And this Ryan Doman, this is his first time he's catching this year. Maurer's been his catcher. You can see immediately Doman putting down his signs, wanting him to rock and throw. And Maurer's a guy that's a little more deliberate. Sits, thinks about his sign, looks to see where the outfielders are, where's the infield.
Those are his numbers since leaving the Yankees. He had an injury-filled 4 years with the Yankees. Never could make it consistently out to the mound. A variety of ailments. Strike 3. Granderson down looking. As Pavano retires 3 in a row, and we go to the 6th. Yankees down by 1.
And Justin Morneau will lead off the top of the 6th inning. We'll look at our Home Depot scouting report. He missed a lot of time, only played 69 games last year due to concussions, but he's back at first base tonight. Good news for the Twins, healthy enough to do that, trying to get his bat going. And not too long ago, the MVP in 2006, 321, 34 home runs, and 130 RBIs that year.
Morneau hits one deep to center field. Going back, Granderson still back, looking up. See ya. Long home run for Justin Morneau. And now it's 5-3 Twins.
Second home run of the year from Justin Morneau. Ron Gardenhire putting him back at first base tonight. We mentioned the numbers earlier. Loves hitting here at the new Yankee Stadium, and loves the fact that he got a first pitch fastball right down the middle. Took care of it, hitting it in the Yankee bullpen.
You're talking about the M&M boys. Looking at right at the stat, John. Only Harmon Killebrew and Morneau for the Minnesota Twins organization had 100 RBIs or more in 3 consecutive seasons. Harmon Killebrew, the great hitter, the late Harmon Killebrew, 1969 through 1971, and Morneau, you mentioned about the MVP year, 06, 7, and 8. I just, as great as that is, Boone Logan warming up in the Yankee bullpen, just thought it'd been more than 2.
There's been a lot of good hitters in Minnesota through the years.
Drill to right field. And hooking foul. Follow the New York Yankees with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text that bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Two-two to Domit. With Garcia struggling like this, and then you saw on Saturday Phil Hughes also struggling, somebody's going to have to lead the rotation when Andy Pettitte is ready to come back. And Joe Girardi said it's still early, and he figures Andy was going to start again on Friday. Has 4 more starts, which should take him to the 2nd week of May. And this is a results business, especially with the Yankees. And the pitcher that is not performing, whether it be Hughes or Garcia, will not be in the rotation. 2 guys are short of a spot. That's Kuroda and Sabathia. Nova's 2-0. Hasn't lost since last June, I think, in the regular season. So Garcia and Hughes have to step up to keep their spot in the rotation. And I think they both know it. Driven out to left field. Nice jump there by Gardner for the first out. Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Welcome to America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. Welcome to life on Fios. The aforementioned Liriano goes for the Twins with a 10 ERA. CC Sabathia looking for his first win, 6.75. Our coverage begins at 6 with the BP show. 6:30 is the pregame show, and 7:07 will be first pitch. CC. And here's Danny Valencia. There's a strike.
Michael, you mentioned the last 2 spots in the rotation and Andy Pettitte making a return after maybe 4 more appearances in the minor leagues. But Freddie Garcia, in my opinion, that doesn't even enter his mind. I mean, this guy's been pitching for a long time, pitching some big games. And if he gets hit like he's getting hit around a little bit tonight, it's not because he's thinking about his spot in the rotation, in my opinion. He just doesn't have great stuff tonight. Now, Phil Hughes might be a little different story. A younger pitcher, maybe put a little more pressure on himself. See how he responds the next couple of times through.
I think that's fair, but if I remember, I think Freddie also had made a comment about, this is New York. Obviously, you have to answer to it. It was when Pineda was still in the rotation, and now Freddie, veteran guy, obviously 1-year deal or 2-year deal.
Freddie's a 1-year deal.
You know, and then I think his comment was, you know, I showed that I deserve to start, kind of thing. So we'll see.
And then lurking after Pettit is Michael Pineda if everything goes well with him. So again, a performance-based industry. Freddie Garcia will leave the mound. Not a huge Bronx cheer, but he's certainly not getting cheered off the mound. Yankees will go for the left-hander, Boone Logan, against Clete Thomas when we return. Every day is Earth Day, so come out to Yankee Stadium this Wednesday, April 18th, for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Twins and partner with Keep America Beautiful to celebrate Earth Day. The first 18,000 guests in attendance receive a tomato seed packet, courtesy of Keep America Beautiful. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Well, Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. And that call to the bullpen brings on Boone Logan to face Clete Thomas. 4 games for Logan. 7 strikeouts in 4 innings. Yankee bullpen has been great. 2.03 ERA. That's the 3rd best in the majors, behind Pittsburgh at 1.78 and Texas at 2.03. So tied with Texas. If you take it to the 4th number, just behind them. And that clips Clete Thomas and puts him on base.
Well, what I think Boone Logan has done so well this year is that first pitch breaking ball, strike 1, and now this is the offset. He obviously didn't want to do that, Clete Thomas. Being able to establish strikes on the inside part of the plate. You have a good left-handed setup guy, as Boone Logan is. Aside from the out pitch, which is a slider or the power fastball, to be able to establish strikes inside. And I thought he's been doing that much better, even from spring training, and getting a strike slider for called strikes, not the swing and miss 2-strike in the dirt. That combination of early slider, especially you coming in as lefty on lefty, good looking fastball. Get first pitch breaking ball that just missed and let the ball go a little too soon, hit him.
Well, they're looking fastball, but they're also looking for the ball out over the plate, which proves your point, Al. If you could throw a fastball in on their hands and for a strike, I mean, it just opens up the whole outside of the plate. Now he's going to have to do it against Casilla, hitting from the right side. So like the adjustment Logan made last year where he dropped his arm angle a little bit, a little more deceptive against the lefties, a little more movement on the fastball.
5-3. Twins lead the Yankees. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Count 3-0.
Ducking underneath it. See all three of those. Casilla trying to get on base here. All three fastballs from Boone have been upstairs.
Strike on the outside corner. And another strike. That'll release Thomas at first. 3-2 and 2 outs. Payoff. Foul back.
Casilla from the left side hitting the ball in the right field. One hop in the wall and not a home run guy at all. Put in play. He saw 5 fastballs, 6 fastballs in a row from Boone Logan. Had a healthy cut there.
Breaking ball missed inside. Casilla takes it. First and second. 2 outs. And back to the top of the lineup.
All right, you're shaking your head because I'm thinking foul straight back, and I know it's Alexi Casilla, but all you have to do is throw a little high school curveball there, and he's taken.
For a strike. For a strike. Yeah, but that's the thing. If you throw a slider or a curveball, you have to throw it for a strike. And when you miss, it looks bad.
Looks like you gave in.
It looks like you gave in to the number 9 hitter. Now you have Span up there, who's a better hitter.
Yep.
Hitting .440 early on this year against lefties. But I agree with you. You're sitting there as a catcher saying, if he can throw it over the plate,
yes,
we have an out. If he misses, it looks bad. Now all of a sudden, runner in scoring position with your leadoff hitter. But as a pitcher, you always believe you can throw it for a strike.
You better.
Yeah.
But you know what? You'd want to call it yourself as opposed to the catcher to convince you it's the right pitch. I felt that way, especially you're right, because everything paints that you gave in, number 9 hitter, challenge him. Well, I just threw 6 in a row. I got behind 3-0, got to 3-2. He fouled it straight back.
With a good swing. With a good swing. Yeah.
I mean, that to me is the fun cat and mouse of the battle. Pitcher, hitter.
One.
Span chased in his previous at bat with a would look like a high slider emergency pitch at the very end. When Freddie Garcia ended up swinging at it. Again went after the high fastball there.
One and two.
Well, you got him right where you want him now. Left on left, 1 and 2, a good fastball at 94. I know if I'm behind the plate, I'm thinking we have him sped up. I could probably go with a good slider down and away. If you execute, you probably should get the result you want.
Good slider, key, and off the plate. You have 2 pitches here.
Yeah.
This could be the game. You think that way. It's getting later, 6th inning. Slider looks like outer third off the plate.
Slapped out to short on a short hop. Jeter fires to Cano, and they get Casilla for the final out. Well, one more run on the Morneau home run. 2 runners left. He's at the bottom of the 6th. Yankees down by 2. Time for the game summary, brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 5-9-1 for the Twins, 3-6-0 for the Yanks. Mauer, 2 doubles, a ribby and a run scored. Morneau, solo home run in his first game playing the field this year. And Jeter and Granderson open up the first inning with back-to-back home runs. Alex Rodriguez, who is 2 for 2, steps in against Pavano. 1-0. Dribbled foul. Don't know if a young pitcher would have been able to navigate his way out of that first inning. Pavano has seen it all. He just got hit very hard in the first inning, but somehow kept it together. Didn't let the game get out of hand, and now he's at 71 pitches in the 6th inning, which is pretty good.
I think he's taken advantage of some aggressiveness by some Yankee hitters. He's now thrown backwards, and he's thrown a very good slider changeup combination, sprinkling in some fastballs like that, and really not missing location. And you're right, Michael. You lead off back-to-back home runs, single, K, RBI single. You're down 3-zip with 1 out.
Hit sharply to Carroll. 1 away.
That pitch right there, it's 83. It's got a little cut to it. Down and away break. Watch the ball here. Ryan Doumit setting up outside the 1-2 count. Now this ball just fades down and away. It's got a little bit of a cut to it. Slider, cutter kind of break.
It's so easy to say, though. You know, you can't try to do too much against a guy like Pavano because, like you said, Al, he's not going to give in. He's going to move it a little bit. You really have to be disciplined in your approach just to kind of drive the ball to the gaps. I wonder if the Yankees offensively now paying attention a little bit, like, you know what, we're down by 2 here in the 6th inning when we thought we were going to crush this guy. Turn it up a notch. We'll see if they can do it. I mentioned this earlier. I've just noticed the rhythm and the pace for Pavano has just really gotten to the point where he looks comfortable and in a rhythm with his catcher.
Count 1-2.
I mentioned Ryan Doumit being, this is the first time that he's catching Pavano, and while Joe Mauer, great catcher, great player, if you have a pitcher that is waiting for you to put the signs down, it gets a little frustrating. Now watch here, this little tempo. Here he's ready to go, Pavano. Throw the sign down quickly. Doesn't like it, shakes him off. Fastball in, backdoor slider. Shake, shake. Usually a couple shakes will doubt a hitter, they step out. Let's see if he goes back to what he just called, or is this going to be the little, it goes to a changeup. And he's hitting his spots. Drew Butera, who's now in the minor leagues, was the backup kind of catcher last year, and he ended up being Pavano's catcher. So, you know, there's a relationship there. You can appreciate that, you know, having certain pitchers that like to pitch to you.
And it's more that feeling when you're catching behind the plate. You can almost get in the pitcher's head on what pitch he wants to throw even before he steps out on the mound. Doumit thinking right now, what does he want to throw? Going to go to it first and see if that's what Carl wants. But I think more importantly, Al, the first inning we were talking about misses in the middle of the plate. Now when he's missing, it's just off.
And Cano works a walk.
See, I thought that was great right there. Well, we were just showing that split screen. He went to the well. 1, 2, 3, 4 changeups, 1 fastball that he stood up Cano. Doumit calling changeup, thinking, hey, you wanted 4 in a row. Shakes him off to this fastball away. Now there's a little doubt. You know, my catcher wants a changeup. Boom, misses. Good at bat. Robinson Cano. Pavano frustrated. Maybe wanted to go back to the changeup.
Cano is the Yankees' first base runner since Rodriguez led off the 3rd with a single. Grounded off the glove of a diving Morneau, and everybody is safe. That'll be a base hit. That was not an easy play for Morneau.
Well, the walk to Cano, the first of the ball game for Pavano, and then he follows it up with a hard shot here by Mark Teixeira, just off the glove of Morneau. It'll be an infield hit. So just that quickly for the Yankees, a walk and an infield hit. Big opportunity for Nick Swisher here. Cano in scoring position.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Morneau had one game in spring training that he played first, didn't feel comfortable. This is his first game playing first. It looked like, I think he thought that ball was hit harder than it was. He ended up diving right away. One more step might have made it a little easier.
Well, here's Nick Swisher, tied with Carlos Pena for the most ribbies in the American League with 11. Yankees could use a big hit here. Pitch outside.
Again, we talked about it a little while ago against Pavano. He's missing just off the plate with split fingers, change-ups, little cutters. Nick Swisher, you really got to be disciplined. Pick a half of the plate. If you get it in that zone, take care of it.
There's a strike.
I like that take right there, though. It looked like Nick had a little problem with Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire, on that call. It's not what you're looking for. It's a little out of the zone, a borderline strike. Be patient enough to take it. And wait and see if you get a mistake.
Look at the late movement on that changeup.
Soriano getting ready for the Yankees as we approach the 7th inning. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Yankees down by 2. Cano at second, and Teixeira at first. One man out.
Sit, changeup. He's comfortable with it. Staying back here, John.
If you're Nick Swisher, you have some room to that left center field gap, span shading a little bit to right center. Think the other way. If you get a pitch in, you'll be able to react. Ooh.
There's that heater.
Now, do you give Pavano credit for 2 borderline strikes? Or if you take a look here, Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire. Wow, it's off the plate. A couple of borderline pitches, and Pavano gets the benefit of the doubt on both of them. Off the plate.
You wonder that previous pitch, Jerry looking at Nick. No question, balls and strikes. I'll show you.
Now, what a difference, Al. Now a 1-2 count. Oof.
Stays alive.
You have to do that. You have to protect now if you're Nick Swisher. Anything close, try to put it in play. Well, you can talk all the time about pitchers. Pavano for the last 4 innings has been hitting spots, getting a lot of called strikes. Just saw an evidence right there of borderline pitches going his way after he's shown Jerry Davis he's been a strike throwing machine.
He gets him. Swisher down on strikes. And that passes the baton to Raul Ibanez. Big spot.
Carl Pavano, that at bat, he's had a few really good late moving changeups. 2 in that at bat there to Nick Swisher were just, watch this ball. This is dropping like a splitter. Ball almost bounced on the plate. See, there's the grip, circle change. You got the little C right here, and then get on top, invert, pronate your arm. Yes mode, slow motion, yes mode.
You know, catching Pavano, he would throw a changeup and a split depending on how he felt that night. Had both pitches in his arsenal. Found one that's working, he's going with it.
Pitch inside to Ibanez. Ibanez flied out to left and flied out to center. Ground ball to second. Casilla gets Ibanez, and the Yankees strand 2. No runs a hit. 2 men left. We'll go to the 7th inning. We'll see Joe Mauer coming up in the middle of the order. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. While we go to the 7th inning, on the Cadillac scoreboard, Twins are up over the Yankees 5-3. They have 9 hits. They've committed 1 error. The Yankees 3-7-0. Boone Logan still in there in relief of Freddie Garcia, who lasted 5 2/3, so an inning longer than he did in his first start. And Jamie Carroll will lead off. And then Joe Mauer. And a strike from Logan. A very important stretch as Corey Wade gets ready for the Twins if they want to have a decent year. John mentioned earlier they're 2-7 and they have 4 games against the Yankees and then 3 in St. Pete against the Rays. And as Yogi would say, it could get late early.
This is a good test for this club right now. I mean, coming in here at 2-7, we talked about how the Yankees have handled them the last couple of years, Ron Gardenhire's club. We got a 2-run lead here in the 7th inning. Can you find a way to finish it out and get a win here in Yankee Stadium?
Popped up. Teixeira will make the play for the first out. With Joe Mauer coming up, why don't we take a look at the Mazda pitch profile, Al?
Well, I'll tell you, Joe Mauer coming in 242 batting average, but the way Freddie Garcia went after him, that being a high fastball, went the other way. It was a 3-2 count. And then here, nice pitch, ended up getting a split finger. Teixeira taking care of that. And then the 5th inning, this was his mistake. He had 2 outs, had an opportunity to get out of the inning. That being a mistake in the sense that it was 0-2 count to a very good hitter in Mauer. You ended up hitting a splitter that was down and in.
So Mauer 2 for 3. And this is a day that the Twins need a lot of, because their success ultimately rests with the success and the durability of their M&M boys, Mauer and Morneau. Both of them today are 2 for 3. 2 doubles, a ribby, and a run scored for Mauer. A single and a home run and a run scored and a ribby for Morneau. Pavano outlasted his struggles in the 1st inning, got out of some trouble in the 6th, and he has a 5-3 lead after 6.
I'm laughing watching Pavano in there with his catcher Domit. I mean, he is one of those guys out that talks between every inning to the catcher. You know, vocal pitcher, wants to talk about what happened, what he's going to do the next inning. Other pitchers didn't want to talk a whole lot. He gave them their own space.
I'm gonna figure that you probably didn't like the chatty pitcher.
I did whatever I had to do for that pitcher that day, whatever he wanted.
You didn't come up with a.
I should rephrase that. Not whatever he wanted, with limitations.
Wow, did you get that, Michael?
What I get is he would hate dealing with you.
Did I?
We never hooked up, I don't think.
I think we did. I came in
as a reliever.
Oh yeah, reliever.
Yeah,
not as a starter. Why would you say that?
Well, you're a little chatty.
Did you talk
No,
innings?
not between innings.
Why not?
On the plane, the bus.
Why didn't you talk between innings?
Because it was a time to just sit and relax and vote. Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
You know what? Whatever works. Okay, so that's. Would you do that?
Doman saying, you know what? Yep. I got to worry about an at bat coming up here at some point. Give me a little space.
3-2.
You know, Carl's talking. Watch his body language, talking about a hitter. You know, maybe we can move him off the plate. Thinking ahead in the lineup to the next inning and what ultimately I would like to do.
Doman looks like a bobblehead right now.
That's like, yeah, okay, go sit down.
All right, now I can worry about my at bat. Let me watch Boone Logan here.
(3-2) missed, and they lose Mauer, so he's on base for the 3rd time tonight. And that's going to do it for Logan. as Girardi is going to call on Corey Wade. So it's going to be Wade against Willingham. Yankees trailing 5-3 in the 7th. Stick around. Later tonight, don't miss WB Mason Presents The Joe Girardi Show as the skipper breaks down the season so far, including a recap of the home opener against the Angels, and Joe answers your questions submitted via Twitter. The Joe Girardi Show tonight after the postgame. It's only on Yes. So Girardi brings in Corey Wade, and he's been pretty perfect. 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. Has not allowed a run. He inherits Maurer at first with Willingham at the plate. Count 1-0.
You know, I laugh when I see those numbers for Corey Wade. I worked a few of the spring training games that he pitched, and he got hit around hard. It just goes to show you spring training doesn't mean anything. You get during the regular season when the lights go on. Corey Wade was ready to go.
I thought, you know, we smiled at the same time because I also did a few games down in spring at the end, and I asked him that. He said, "Yeah, I know the ERA, irrelevant. You know, I mean, he's not a veteran guy that, you know, multi-year deal, but, you know, there's certain things that you hope you can work on." And he said that these first 2 pitches to Josh Willingham, the curveball. Yeah. Corey Wade is right. It's not overpowering. He's got an excellent changeup.
He moves to second.
Going on the pitch here. There's a slider stealing this bag.
Joe Maurer running. I mean, you don't expect that. The catcher has had some leg problems, but he takes advantage. And Russell Martin just tried to be a little bit too quick and clanked it off his glove.
Is there ever a surprise moment where you're thinking this guy's not going?
Without a doubt. Right. There are times, guys are on base and you almost relax behind the plate. Not saying that happened right there with Russell Martin. And you try to be a little too quick because maybe you're surprised. You know he got a good jump, and slider bounces right off the glove. 2-run game here now. Another runner in scoring position with a hot hitter in Willingham.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Fastball count went all breaking balls, 2 curveballs and 2 sliders. See if he stays with the off speed.
Fouls it back. Now 3-2. On deck is Morneau. Boy, Maurer and Morneau have decent seasons. What a spot for Willingham to be in between those two. You don't want to put another guy on base. And if Maurer's on base all the time, he's going to see a lot of fastballs. Check the swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Greg Gibson. So Willingham down on strikes. Big strikeout for Wade.
Huge pitch. This is a very good slider. He had 2 different variations of breaking balls. The pitch before that was a backup slider that stayed inside. You see the check swing. Good call. Watch this ball now. Closed delivery, meaning across his body a little bit. I think Willingham knew it. That was one of those, boy, I hope he doesn't ring me up. Greg Gibson, first base umpire.
So here is Morneau. Morneau had a home run in the 6th inning. Check out this stat. He has 5 home runs at the new Yankee Stadium in 11 games. He has 5 home runs in 80 games at his home field, Target Field.
You guys surprised they're going right at Morneau here? First base open.
Maybe first base open, yeah.
And you got Doman behind, who's obviously a left-handed hitter, switch hitter, I believe. You pitch very carefully. I think that's what Russell Martin might have a conversation about right here. Obviously, Morneau has had his problems with some health issues the last couple of years, but swinging the bat pretty well tonight with the home run.
Yeah, there was a bang on his glove, thinking I have to get on the same page here. Sometimes with relievers, and you could help us out on this, you don't really go over. There's multiple signs with a runner at second base. Sometimes you'll see a catcher come out and get on the same page sign-wise.
High drive, left center, going back. Granderson, still back, and he makes the play. Oh, what a play by Granderson! He took away an extra base hit and 2 RBIs. Might have saved the game with that running play. What a play by Curtis Granderson. A long run and just got it into the webbing for the final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 6.5, time for the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium. Also time for God Bless America.
Servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now joining Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Thank you, Bob. Here at Yankee Stadium, crowd still buzzing over that play by Curtis Granderson. Quite a play, John.
Well, I think the reason for the buzz is how far Curtis Granderson traveled for this ball. You can see he was shading a little bit to right center and makes a stretch catch out on the warning track, crashes into the wall a little bit. But up here in the booth, I thought there was no way he would be able to cover enough ground to make the play. And as you mentioned, Michael, might have saved a huge run for the New York Yankees.
I think what made that even more special was that there was the hesitation because Gardner's addressing this, going after it. And at the very end, what a catch.
Russell Martin swings and misses at Pavano's first offering in the bottom of the 7th. And a strike, count 0-2 on the Cadillac scoreboard. 5-3 Twins.
Pavano at 90 pitches right now. He threw 101 pitches against the Angels his last start. Wonder if he's thinking, Al, you know what, I go out there for the 7th inning, kind of give it all that I have here, let it eat.
Strike 3, Martin down looking.
Well, it has been his changeup in these last few innings that really. Brian Dunsing, former starter, left-hander warming up. Watch this. It's a give up. Look at how much movement that is. It's almost breaking like a breaking ball. Straight down. That's a changeup.
We talked about earlier, a little deception, tucking that left shoulder to hide the baseball. A little tougher to get a look. Since that first inning has really kept the balls on the corner of the plate, is not missing down the middle.
Gardner shows bunt, pulls back.
All of a sudden that 86, 87, not that big of a deal, Al, because you could throw it right on the corner with a little deception.
You know, the deception that John's talking about. This closed shoulder hides the baseball longer, and then it's quickly through. Obviously, this all takes place in milliseconds. 90-mile-an-hour fastball is about 0.4 seconds to home plate. See, now the frustration is setting in, John.
Yep.
They're doubting Jerry Davis' calls. Let's see if this ball is up. I think he's complaining that ball is up, maybe off the plate as well.
It is a fact of life at the major league level. If you have a pitcher who throws pitches on the corner and just off, the umpires are more apt to call strikes because you're always around the strike zone. He doesn't get the call right there. A little frustrated, Pavano. When you're a pitcher and you can throw the ball consistently around the plate, he's only walked one, I think, tonight. You're going to get a lot of the benefit of the doubt from major league umpires.
Swing and a miss. 2 down. Hey, you can vote along with us for tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 42951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Derek Jeter, number 2, Joe Mauer, number 3, Justin Morneau, and number 4, Carl Pavano. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates certainly do apply. Here's Derek Jeter. Jeter on one hop to Casilla. An easy inning for Carl Pavano as he mows down the Yankees in order. We go to the 8th. Ryan Dumit will lead off against Corey Wade. us out for the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz is back in the studio to break down tonight's series opener. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz gets the team's reaction and Joe Girardi's comments in the manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame, and it's only on Yes. While we go to the 8th inning, Domit leads off against Corey Wade. There's a strike. They expect Domit to pull. They have 3 infielders on the right side. Only Alex is on the left side for the Yanks. In the outfield, they're more or less straight away. Domit 1 for 3. Hyundai scoreboard 5-3. Twins lead the Yanks. Twins are up 2-0. Yankees scored 3 in the bottom of the first, make it 3-2. It stayed that way until the Twins scored 2 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. That's how it plays out in 5-3 Minnesota. Count 2-2.
The old equalizer. Right-handed pitcher, changeup. Corey Wade, it is his out pitch, especially to the left-handed hitter.
Still 2-2.
Big shutdown inning here. Now the Yanks are down by 2. Corey Wade, opportunity to get a 3-up, 3-down. Remains to be seen whether Ron Gardenhire brings Pavano back out. 96 pitches. You say, John, 90 was his highest so far?
101, I think.
101, okay. Well, it looks like he'll probably bring him back out.
Grounded in short right field. Oh, it's going to be a tough play. And he loses the handle, so Domit picks up a single. Got the sense that if he doesn't lose the handle, he can still get Domit there, showing a lot of range to the backhand side.
The thing with Robinson, anytime he's anywhere near a baseball with the throwing arm and how accurate he is, you always think he has a chance. Would have been an extremely tough throw. Couldn't get the handle.
You know, I'm fascinated by the scatter reports. You know, Ryan Domit, longtime Pittsburgh Pirates catcher. You know, the shift. I'm looking at where that ball would have been had it just been regular defense.
Driven into right center field. That is going to be a base hit. It splits the outfielders and it goes to the wall. Played out there by Granderson. They are waving home Domit. Here's the throw from Granderson. Well, from Cano. The play is not in time. Domit just got ahead of the throw. It is 6-3 Minnesota.
Danny Valencia looked like he got a little breaking ball that went away when he's right. Drives the ball to right field. Quick transfer, just a high throw from Robinson Cano. You see Russell Martin trying to make the tag. Ryan Domit, excellent job eluding it. The tag, had he slid a regular slide even straight in. Watch the very end here. Jumping up, the agility of Russell Martin.
And that was
Nice
the whole
slide.
problem right there with the high throw. You know, if that throw is, sorry, Michael, if that throw is a little lower, he probably is able to apply the tag.
Yankees bring the infield in.
Aggressive call by third base coach Steve Little. Hate to have that first out at home plate. He could have been second and third, nobody out, but he was aggressive and it paid off for him.
Further drawn in infield for a base hit. That will score Valencia. And now it's 7-3 Twins. So the Yankee bullpen, which has been so good in the early going here, gives up a couple runs here in the 8th inning. And here is Casilla. Cleat Thomas leads off first. And he goes. Line drive right at Cano. That's going to be a double play. So even that ball was hard hit, but right at Cano.
Well, it's a type of baseball Ron Gardenhire and the Minnesota Twins like to play. A little hit and run. Casilla hits the ball hard right on the nose, right at Robinson Cano. An easy double play. A lot of damage already done here in the 8th inning. Wonder if those 2 extra runs, maybe Ron Gardenhire thinks a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You know, do you send Pavano out there? He was so good in the 7th, close to that pitch count maximum.
Well, he's got, with the 2 outs, I believe Dunsing is still warming up in the Twins bullpen. There's Brian Dunsing.
There's a base hit past Alex Rodriguez into left field. Span will stop at first as Gardner gets the ball in.
Well, also, too, John, I thought you were going to say with Ron Gardenhire, when runs are at a premium going into this inning, they did have a little bit of cushion with 5-3. By allowing, because of that cushion, be a little bit more aggressive. Third base coach, push and dome it, not a speedy runner. Transfer had to be perfect.
Now, what's going through Ron Gardenhire's mind, though? Got 6 more outs to possibly get a win here in Yankee Stadium, get the first game of the series. I mentioned the whole game how the Twins have had trouble here in New York against the Yankees.
Yeah, like 7-33 under Ron Gardenhire.
Sure, he still does not feel comfortable on that top railing. Seen a lot of games here in New York.
Jamie Carroll is 2 for 4 tonight.
See Robinson Cano really shading Carroll right up the middle. We've seen him try to hit the ball right back up the box the whole night. A lot of room over here to the right side for Carroll, a guy who can really handle the bat inside out the baseball. 2 outs. You would not be expecting a hit and run here with Span as Rapata gets up in the pen once again.
One foul away.
Game the Twins, I'm sure, have to feel they have to win. It only scored 28 runs coming into this game. That's in 9 games. Scored 7 here.
Trying to do the math real quick. You asked, what is Ron Gardenhire thinking? 28 runs in 7 games?
9 games.
9 games.
Just over 3 runs a game. That's 7 tonight. You got to find a way to win this game for Ron Gardenhire. Finish it up with your bullpen.
He's short Len Perkins, who went back to Minnesota, had an MRI on his forearm. He said he's okay. He has been the primary setup guy.
Chopped right side, and Cano ranges to the glove side, and a nice stretch by Teixeira for the final out. But 2 big runs against Corey Wade. 2 runs, 4 hits. No errors. One man left on base. Coming up for the Yankees, 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Granderson, Rodriguez, and Cano. That is to honor a friend, graduate student Brian Bloom, who was among those killed in the shootings at Virginia Tech 5 years ago today. And he was a big fan of Granderson's. They communicated via blog, and he has never forgotten him. And Granderson has maintained a relationship with the Bloom family in the years since Brian's passing. And Granderson said, it's amazing how someone I never met can be that impactful. So he remembers Brian tonight with that wristband. One and two. As Brian Dunsing is taken over, and on the Hyundai scoreboard, the Twins lead 7-3. That one is looped into center field. Span coming on, can't make the play. So a base hit for Granderson. He's 2 for 4.
Well, Dunsing did a nice job getting ahead, and you get a good look on Yesmo. Bernard Span coming in, trying to make the backhanded catch. It's off the edge of his glove. Another hit for Curtis Granderson. Nice job out in front a little bit off the end of the bat, but stays through it and is able to pick up a base hit. Yankees trying to get something going here in the 8th. Good bid, just out of his reach.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. And there's a strike from Dunsing. Dunsing throws hard, 95 miles an hour there. You see his numbers, has not been great in the early going. A 6 ERA in 4 games.
Well, velocity-wise, this is not the Brian Dunsing as a starter. Yes, he has a nice fastball, but just shows you the difference. And this is new to Brian Dunsing. He was a starter all in his career, short career so far. Last year, 28 starts, 5 ERA, 9-14.
That one is drilled to left field, but right at Willingham. Can't hit it harder than that. But Willingham makes the catch.
You can see some frustration from Alex Rodriguez. He does everything right. Stays back on an off-speed pitch and hammers it to left field. Nothing to show for it. Wonder for the Yankees, maybe a little breath of fresh air getting Pavano out of that game as he was rolling for the last 6 innings that he pitched. Better swings here in the 8th off of Dunsing.
Cano grounds one up the middle. Grabbed there by Casilla. He gets the force at second. What a play by the Twins second baseman. Taking a base hit away from Cano.
Cano out in front. Looks like a little off-speed pitch. Slider breaking away. Dunsing trying to do the little kick save. Maybe it slowed the ball down enough. Casilla, nice flip. Still mindful of maybe a double play. Quickly making the transfer to Jamie Carroll. Carroll making sure that he gets the short out at second base. What a play. Just to get to that ball. Flip a little high. Nice play.
Pitch to Teixeira is inside.
Dunsing coming in, just attacking. Let's take a look. Another look. Lexi Casilla, beautiful flip, a little lower. Perhaps Carroll might have made the transfer and go for the double play.
Grounded deep to third. Valencia across the diamond. And that'll do it. So Dunsing comes in and works a scoreless 8th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Why don't we go to the 9th inning? Beautiful play by Casilla to stop any kind of rally the Yankees might have had. Joe Mauer and the Twins. Coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today. And then the Tri-State 4 pregame. Then Al, John, and I are back right here for the action only on Yes. New pitcher for the Yankees is Clay Rapata. And he will face Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, and Justin Morneau. Those are the numbers on Rapata. And a strike. Congratulations to the New York Rangers who beat the Ottawa Senators 1-0 in Game 3 to take a 2-1 lead over Ottawa in the best of 7. Another base hit from Mauer. 4th time he is on. We gave you the numbers earlier. Both Mauer and Morneau love hitting here at this ballpark. So 2 doubles and a single and a walk for Joe Mauer.
Well, this looks like the Joe Mauer of old, who does not flinch against a left-handed pitcher, and a guy like Rapato drops down a little bit, does not try to pull him, goes the other way. It's a pretty hard line drive the other way. Good sign for the Twins tonight with Mauer and Morneau.
We're in the 9th inning. Twins lead the Yankees 7-3. Count 1-1. Matt Capps will try to come in and close it for the Twins. Seven runs on 14 hits for the Twins, 3 runs on 8 hits for the Yankees.
A little different style. Clay Rapato from Boone Logan. Boone Logan more of over the top, harder, firmer fastball. See David Phelps pitch Saturday. Warming up for the Yankees.
Probably just getting a little side in, right? He's worked so much lately.
Yeah, most relievers, after a couple days off, they got to get some kind of little bullpen work. But I think his pitch count was about 76 or 78 pitches Saturday in relief of Phil Hughes' start.
Count 3-2.
Al, you and I have seen it before. A guy comes in long relief, does a nice job, 5 innings plus. And all of a sudden his name gets thrown around for a spot start here and there.
Well, that's, for me, the interesting part of the Yankee bullpen right now is that little backdoor slider. Rapato locking up Josh Willingham.
With Justin Morneau due up, why don't you take a look at the Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, Justin Morneau leading off the 6th inning, did not waste any time. A first pitch fastball from Garcia, and he deposits it in the Yankee bullpen for your Land Rover drive of the game.
Now, just talking about the Yankee bullpen, you always have that long guy that really is the 6th starter.
Yeah.
And really, if it looks like right now David Phelps is that guy. We saw what he did on Saturday in relief of Phil Hughes, and then having 2 situational left-handers.
Morneau with a deep drive to right, but Swisher is there. He'll make the play for the 2nd out.
Makes it tough for starts where you don't have your starter that goes to the 6th or 7th inning. Where is to have situational mix and match guys, you have to have that somewhat formidable guy who could give you consistent 3 or 4 innings periodically. And right now, from looking at it, it's either Corey Wade or David Phelps.
Here's Domit, who is 2 for 4 today, and also has done a great job behind the plate, nursing Carl Pavano through that rocky 1st inning and straightening him out. And ever since, the Yankees have put up nothing but zeros.
Al was mentioning Drew Butera, who was Pavano's catcher last year. Now all of a sudden these guys got something good going here. Domit and Pavano, after those shaky 1st innings, 6 quality innings after that, you go in the clubhouse. If you win this game, you look forward to the next time working together.
I think that's an absolute based on how he was able to settle him down. Wherever the communication was, Pavano pitched that ball game.
Grounded to Alex Rodriguez. He'll go the short way, get the force, and that will do it. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones? It'll be Swisher, Ibanez, and Martin. It has to be more than that for them to score 4. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Yankees trail the Minnesota Twins in the first game of a 4-game series by a 7-3 score. And the Twins turn it over to Matt Capps. And he has had an interesting 3 games. He's essentially the closer for the Twins, and things have gotten hairy in his 2 save situations, but he gets it done. He said, I don't care how sweaty it gets as long as I nail down the save. Joe Nathan, longtime closer for the Twins, ends up signing as a free agent with the Texas Rangers. John Roush, who was also with the Twins at one point, now with the Mets. So let's see what the Yankees could do against Matt Capps. Nick Swisher will start it off. Yankees just took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. And the Twins just got swept 3 games by the Rangers. Obviously, this is not a save situation, but they want Capps to come in and get the last 3 outs. 7-14-1, beating 3-8-0.
I was kind of interested to see Nick Swisher's approach right there, being aggressive on a first pitch fastball. Yankees trying to slug their way back in it here in the 9th. Sometimes you're told to go up there and be patient against a closer, see if he'll walk a few. And Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire, has had a very generous pitcher strike zone tonight. Nick Swisher decides to go up there and be aggressive.
Matt Capps, especially a couple of years ago, he came on the scene with Pittsburgh at 09, 27 saves. Went over to the Washington Nationals, 36 saves. That's a shared duty of the closer role. Michael mentioned about Nathan and John Roush here. But he's an attack guy, just a very aggressive in the zone fastball cutter.
Rounded to first. Morneau. Away. Morneau with an uneventful game at first, his first game in the field this year. The Twins 2 outs away. And this is not insignificant when you consider how poorly they have played here under Ron Gardenhire. 5-28 in the Bronx at both stadiums, and 18-51 overall against the Yankees. That's regular season ineptitude. So a win is not something to be sneezed at. You think he feels safe yet?
No.
Even though Matt Capps hasn't been in the game since 4 days ago, he is your closer. It's a non-safe situation. Here he is out there, Tone Hill.
And there's a base hit for Ibanez. Yankees get a base runner on here in the bottom of the ninth. A couple of years ago, the Yankees actually had a series against the Minnesota Twins as Casilla. Full body dive, can't make the play, where they had 3 straight walk-off wins, bottom of the ninth victories. And they will send up Eric Chavez to pinch hit for Russell Martin. That 3-game set was in May of '09.
The role of a pinch hitter. He's here for 3 hours. Just about exactly 3 hours. Eric Chavez, longtime starting third baseman for Oakland. Now with the new stadiums with the cages underneath.
You get a lot of swings underneath there to get loose. I was just thinking, always tough when a pinch hitter comes up there. Do you go right at him with a fastball? Good one there, right by Eric. You know, banking on he's not loose. He's been sitting around for 3 hours, like you mentioned. But then you talk to a lot of good pinch hitters, and they say the first fastball I get, I have to put it in play. So he might be more apt to throw a curveball or an off-speed pitch. Looks like Capps has the upper hand with the fastball in this at bat.
Now that one up to 94 miles an hour.
Well, and also too, John, it depends on the pitcher. If you got a guy that's his MO, pretty much attack with a fastball, decent command, put the plate in quadrants. And that's what Matt Capps has been since he's been in the big leagues. Better velocity a couple years ago. He pushed on upper 90s.
One-two. Popped up. Willingham makes the play, and the Yankees are down to their final out. That leaves it up to Brett Gardner to keep this game going. Gardner 0 for 3 tonight. Fly to center, grounded to first, and struck out. All 3 against Pavano. Carl Pavano will get the win if the Twins hold on.
Well, he earned that win after the adjustments he made after the first inning. It would be a very disappointing loss for the Yankees. Looked like they had all the momentum after the first, coming back with 3 runs to take the lead. And nothing since.
There's a strike. Right to Valencia, and that will do it as the Yankees lose this one 7-3. So Gardner hit it right on the nose, and finally Gardenhire can exhale. In the 9th inning, no runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Yankees led this one 3-2 at one point, and then their offense completely shut down. They did not score for the next 8 innings, so the only inning they scored was in the first against Pavano. He straightened it out. Then Dunsing and Caps close it out. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. Twins 7-14-1 beat the Yankees 3-9-0.